It is recording. Fuck, what a dork. Okay, no, that's perfect. Okay, today I want to talk about social awkwardness. So that just seems actually so appropriate. I'm not going to turn it off and start over. I'll just be more awkward in the next one. Okay, so what is social awkwardness? Why do I have it? And why do some people just look so cool and calm and smooth and stuff during all these social occasions? And why can't I be that way too? Okay, so basically, every single time I'm going to speak from personal experience. So again, I just want to say, I'm not saying this is how it is, I'm just speaking from personal experience. Okay, so previously, I used to think of myself as an extroverted person, although I don't want this vlog to be about introversion and extroversion. I do want to do another video on that, because that's a whole new thing for me. But yeah, I would never have thought of myself as a socially awkward person back in the day or during my teenage years. That only came about, let's say, when marijuana came into the picture. Yeah, it's not something I'm hiding, obviously. Everybody who was friends with me or who are friends with me know I went through that heavy phase, and yeah, it kind of changed a lot. Anyhow, so before that phase, it, of course, as most teenagers, you get the drinks going and you're going out and you're going to different clubs, you know, and you whatever. So back then I really didn't think I was a socially awkward person, because you kind of, you know, you're drinking and you're meeting the people your age, but also at clubs, so you guys are all, I don't know, it's a cool thing, you know. And I wasn't ever awkward over there, and I didn't feel I was. So yeah, and then the weed phase, and that kind of made me, you know, I went off like full force into that lifestyle. So I went anti-alcohol for 2 years, so I didn't touch a drop. And so that was kind of strange for me, because I didn't straight away stop going to these places. I just stopped drinking. And then it did become weird when I was around these people and around these places, the same people and the same places, but without drinking. It was entirely different, and it was kind of weird, to be honest. It really was. And I feel that that's where the social awkwardness came from, because I couldn't really relate to them, you know. Obviously, maybe I was on a different level, I don't know, whatever. Anyhow, so for the longest of times, I thought I was a socially awkward person for, I'd say, the last 3 years, maybe even more or longer, you know. And I got to such an extent that, because of course I stopped the weed thing and then went back to a drink every now and again, you know, nothing as crazy as it was before. Yeah, whatever. So during this time where I started introducing alcohol again, or just having, you know, 1 or 2 drinks just to like smooth things over and chill and chat away at braais and whatever else, it got to a point where not even that 1 or 2 drinks got me to that not calm, I don't really know, comfortable feeling, you know, that comfortability where you're not anxious and you're not overthinking things, and of course the people you're surrounded by make a huge impact, but I'm speaking about going to braais and stuff where you don't have that comfortability factor, you're just meeting new people or, you know, stuff like that. So even it got to a dysfunctional level, so much so that it got to a point where even thinking about going to these type of braais would kind of make me anxious, you know. It would literally invoke very intense anxiousness feelings within me if I knew that there wasn't going to be quite a few people there that I'd be comfortable with, and going with them preferably, you know, not just rocking. Oh my gosh, there was nothing worse for me than rocking up alone at a place and having to look for the people that I know. Like that, whoa, that made me so anxious, it's ridiculous. Anyhow, whatever, I'm blabbering on. So anyhow, I went overseas and came back, backpacked. And during all this time, because this was a big thing that I really wanted to figure out, like it was a really big deal breaker for me, and I wanted to break it down, figure it out, see what's going on, why I have this, where did it come from, how do I get rid of it, type thing. Anyhow, so I discovered while overseas and while being back here, because backpacking and staying in backpackers, you meet so many people, and I made a point of going on my own, going to stay at different backpackers on my own, and sort of you forcing yourself into that situation that makes you uncomfortable. It's like I actively wanted to do that because I needed to solve this problem, whatever. So I met so many different people and had so many amazing conversations, and I very quickly came to the conclusion that I'm not a socially awkward person. I just have an issue, or I become socially awkward with surface conversation. That's kind of the conclusion I came to. And by surface conversation, I mean, the first few minutes that you're having the conversation with that person where it's, hi, my name is this, I do this, da-da-da-da-da, and you guys get to know each other, but not really, you're kind of getting to know one another on this surface level. Easier way for me to put it is basically like a Facebook account meets Facebook account, the person that you're meeting, you're not really meeting anybody, because it's just this image or perception or perspective that you're pushing to get somebody else to view you in a certain light. It's not really, it's not real, if I could just be 100% honest. And the whole thing, like what's actually going on there is you're just going to spit out bits of information that you want so that that other person can view you in this specific light. It gets them to categorize you or box you how you want them to categorize and box you. Essentially, that's kind of what it feels like to me. Again, I'm not saying it's how it is, that's just personal experience. So I could sit there and, I could be like, oh, I have this qualification, I have this qualification, I've been here, I've done this, da-da-da, so tell me about yourself. But then that person's just going to sit there like, okay, whoa, this chick, like, she has this, she's done this, she's been here, that's pretty cool, like, so you could push an agenda on somebody during that surface conversation, and that is what makes me uncomfortable. I'm not a socially awkward person. I am not comfortable at all with that exchange, and I don't know, I don't like meeting people's Facebook accounts. As soon as it goes past that, the beyond the surface, that's where I'm comfortable. I want to talk about life and love and theories and questioning things and, speaking about things that actually matter and actually communicating, having a conversation, figuring things out about one another, and not on a surface level, going beyond, because staying on this surface level, I don't feel like anything's happening, like there's no exchange is actually going on, because you don't leave knowing what that person actually does or remembering. It's just what's actually going on, because all you're thinking about once that person has asked you, or you've asked that person that question, you're just thinking about how you're going to respond to that same question once they're done talking, because it's your turn next. So that whole ordeal, I don't know, that just makes me extremely uncomfortable. And like I said, that's not where I'm comfortable, that's not what I'm comfortable with. I just want to move past the Facebook account phase and just go into the deep, and let's actually talk, let's actually communicate. Then I'm comfortable. So I think this is going to be a very quick video. I just wanted to ask if there's any of you out there that also feel the same, as in, do you feel like people would classify you as a socially awkward person, but you view the social interaction on the same level? Or I've spoken to one other person who totally views it this way as well. So is there more of you guys out there? I don't know. I just kind of want to know, because then also I had somebody point out on one of my videos, he said, well, according to your consciousness video, if you're feeling uncomfortable or questioning things within a social interaction, then that just means that you're more conscious or more aware. And I don't mean that in the sense of, oh, I'm more conscious than you guys, you know, it's nothing like that. But him pointing this out made so much sense to me, because I feel like that whole surface chat or conversation, I feel like I'm aware of what's actually going on within that exchange and what that is, and maybe that is why it makes me feel uncomfortable, because I can't just, you know, let it smooth over or whatever else, you know. And I don't know, I do kind of have trouble with that, because if you're traveling or, you know, you're staying at different backpackers, what I've noticed is they're not comfortable with surface conversation either. They do as little as they can to just get to where they're comfortable, which is what I prefer too, you know. It's, hi, what's your name, da-da-da, slam straight into the deep. There is no sitting on information that, to be honest, I don't really care about, and I don't know if any of you actually really care about that stuff. Like, do you actually care where somebody works, how often they work, how many hours they work? Do you actually care? Because I really don't. It doesn't make them any more or less of a person to me, and I'd rather speak about things that actually matter. So yeah, that's going to be a little quick video just to say, what is social awkwardness? Is this even how you guys experience social awkwardness? Because it's like an anxious thing in my head, you know, sitting there and all I'm thinking about is, oh my gosh, what am I going to say next? You know, wondering and just being so in my head for that surface conversation, that, you know, the first conversation before it goes all deep. And I just kind of want to know, yeah, give me some feedback, send me those inboxes. I really want to speak to you guys to try and figure this thing out. Is that just me that's trying to like push that I'm not socially awkward when I actually am, or are there others of you that also view it in that light, like, well, you may be just not comfortable with a surface conversation, and that's cool, you know, admitting that is that's cool. So yeah, other than that, please inbox me, and so that we can start discussions. I am getting inboxes, and I will be making videos based on those requests. I don't know, things are just going a bit slow at the moment, but it will happen at the right time. So yeah, other than that, have a wonderful day, and try go deeper in conversation. You know, I'll just walk up to a random person on the street and just have a conversation about life. Like, try today, during your day, if you're seeing a friend or if you're with a stranger, you know, ask a question about things that actually matter. Try and initiate a conversation where people can actually start connecting. You know, you want to speak to somebody and connect. You don't want to have to just throw out different aspects of yourself and essentially sell yourself to somebody else. Like, let's push that aside and actually start connecting. And so that's my thing for today. Try and connect with somebody. Actually connect, even if it's just somebody behind a till, you know. Ask them something about their lives, and not on the surface plane. Ask them about life, if they find the same thing funny. I don't know, see, because it changes your whole vibe for the day. It almost makes you happy and excited because you're actually connecting with people, and that means a lot. And you can see how much it changes their day too, because they're also not used to somebody trying to find out about them, actually finding out about them, you know. So do that today, connect today, even if it is with one other person, even if it is a stranger, preferably a stranger. Try and connect today. Until next time. Bye guys.